to the VIP.
Yeah, the IP, VIP.
Don't wait, cause tonight's on me.
It's on me, baby, all on me, yeah.
Sexy models, champagne bottles.
Yeah, the IP, VIP.
Got 2 models, need more bottles.
Model when I'm model, got a bottle, there's only one side.
Be Taylor.
Yeah, the IP, VIP. It's on me, baby, it's all on me, yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Xander Effect. I'm your host, Xander Dames. Got a few things to cover today. In entertainment news, David Arquette will reprise his role as Officer Dewey in the new Scream reboot that's coming out very soon. We'll talk a little bit about that. In sports, ex-WWE star Shad Gaspard is missing in the ocean after an issue that happened in Venice Beach yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that. And in video game news, a brand new Rainbow Six Siege DLC is coming out. We'll talk about the new operators that are going to be on that new DLC. Plus, I have a special guest, Maxim Model Sherry Nelson, on the show today. We'll talk a little bit about her journey, how she got into the top 4 of Maxim Model searches, and how she got started. And let me tell you guys, it's the least place you could ever expect a model to start her modeling career. Trust me on that. But first, here is Carina Dahl's You On Me, right here on the Xander Effect.
Give me a rush, cause I'm fighting for a way to make me feel alive. I'm turning to dust. Can you find a way to make our perfect worlds collide? Collide. Lost in the dark, we are drifting around, so close to the shore, but we always seem to drown. Just take my hand, I'll let you lead the way. No matter how far, cause with you I wanna stay. Let's run away, run away. Let's move to the sound of palm trees. Only rhythm is a pounding heartbeat. Getting down in the sand, you on me, you on me, you on me. Let's move to the sound of palm trees. Only rhythm is a pounding heartbeat. Getting down in the sand, you on me, you on me, on me. Silent scream when you're breaking down my walls, the way you make me feel. Kinda hard to believe, but you whisper to me this is how it's meant to be. To be. I'm not afraid, got my head in the game. We're lighting it up, watch the spark turn into flames. I used to be lost, but now I found my way. Yeah, we can go far just as long as you're with me. Let's run away, run away. Let's move to the sound of palm trees. Only rhythm is a pounding heartbeat. Getting down in the sand, you on me, you on me, you on me. Let's move to the sound of palm trees. Only rhythm is a pounding heartbeat. Getting down in the sand, you on me, you on me, on me. Lost in the dark, we are drifting around, so close to the shore, but we always seem to drown. Just take my hand, I'll let you lead the way. No matter how far, cause with you I wanna stay. Let's move to the sound of palm trees. Only rhythm is a pounding heartbeat. Getting down in the sand, you on me, you on me, you on me. Let's move to the sound of palm trees. Only rhythm is a pounding heartbeat. Getting down in the sand, you on me, you on me, on me. You on me, you on me,
good with yourselves? This is your boy Twizm White Piece. And guess what? You're listening to that super saucy show known as The Xander Effect. So make sure you tune in, turn up, and turn out for my boy Xander. You feel me?
The Xander Effect.
You dig.
White Piece. Transform.
White piece, that's me. A nice piece I keep. Personality just might be something so enticing. I love to nibble, no biting. I love the middle of the night scene. I love to giggle and fight sweet. I love her cake and ice. Staying strong like Charmin. I break back like a ball. She proved she was knowledge with just the right mileage. Man, I know badass when I see it. And that perfectly fat ass was a click the light, take a hit. You know me, I'm super saucy. Lights out, I plead the fifth. You know her, she's super naughty. Met her at a club. She said her name was Caramel. Made her fall in love. Now her heart's been like a carousel. You know me, I'm super saucy. Lights out, I plead the fifth. You know her, she's super naughty. Met her at a club. She said her name was Caramel. Made her fall in love. Now her heart's been like a carousel. Really not playing, yes, I'm so super saucy. Really not faking, pour the champagne on her pocket. She love my damn game, cause it's so super awesome. Roses on the bed as I'm playing in her car. Really no joke, yes, I'm charming like a lad. We all up on the carpet and our bodies singing mad. Really no faking bodies, just like origami. Started at the neck and shoulders, headed towards her tummy. See that be her style. Simply sweet, I love her smile. Love her taste, love to drive her wild. Make her heart race, engine quake, no loud. Drop the top, strip. Only thing left is a little spit shine now. Pocket bottle tipped over, heavy breathing, bare shoulders. Motions hot, spilling over. Gotta love, I thought I told you. Going hard, no stopping. Pick it up so she can drop. Yes, I'm on it. Press the lights, take a hit. You know me, I'm super saucy. Lights out, I plead the fifth. You know her, she's super naughty. Met her at a club. She said her name was Caramel. Made her fall in love. Now her heart's been like a carousel. You know me, I'm super saucy. Lights out, I plead the fifth. You know her, she's super naughty. Met her at a club. She said her name was Caramel. Made her fall in love. Now her heart's been like a carousel. Really not playing, yes, I'm so super saucy. Really not faking, pour the champagne on her pocket. She love my damn game, cause it's so super awesome. Roses on the bed as I'm playing in her car. Really no joke, yes, I'm charming like a lad. We all up on the carpet and our bodies singing mad. Really no faking bodies, just like origami. Started at the neck and shoulders, headed towards her tummy. The light, take a hit. You know me, I'm super saucy. Lights out, I plead the fifth. You know her, she's super naughty. Met her at a club. She said her name was Caramel. Made her fall in love. Now her heart's been like a carousel. You know me, I'm super saucy. Lights out, I plead the fifth. You know her, she's super naughty. Met her at a club. She said her name was Caramel. Made her fall in love. Now her heart's been like a carousel. Really not playing, yes, I'm so super saucy. Really not faking, pour the champagne on her pocket. She love my damn game, cause it's so super awesome. Roses on the bed as I'm playing in her car. Really no joke, yes, I'm charming like a lad. We all up on the carpet and our bodies singing mad. Really no faking bodies, just like origami. Started at the neck and shoulders, headed towards her tummy.
That was Twizm Whyte Pieces, Really Not, right here on the Xander Effect. In entertainment news, it looks like David Arquette will be reprising his role as Sheriff Dewey Riley in the brand new Scream reboot. He basically announced it and said, quote, "I am thrilled to be playing Dewey again and to reunite with my Scream family, old and new. Scream has been such a big part of my life, and for both the fans and myself, I look forward to honoring Wes Craven's legacy." Now, basically, Spyglass Media Group announced that on today that filming is expected to begin after the restrictions have been lifted later this year in Wilmington, North Carolina. The writers that are going to be involved, actually, the director is going to be Matthew Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette. They're going to be doing that, and the script is being written by James Vanderbilt, who did Murder Mystery, Zodiac, and The Amazing Spider-Man, and also written by Guy Busick, who did Ready or Not. So the plot right now is still under wraps. Nobody really knows what the plot's going to be for this particular one, but it's, it's going to be really difficult to fill in Wes Craven's shoes. The way he did things, it's not that easy. They've been trying to go ahead and do a lot of different things with the Scream franchise. Obviously, they had they had Scream 4, which was, pretty good. It wasn't too bad. They tried to do the Scream television show, which that one didn't do well that well at all. So we'll see what happens with this brand new reboot and see if it becomes a success. You never know. This could be the beginning of a brand new Scream franchise for the next generation. Who knows? In other entertainment news, Lily Wachowski slams Ivanka Trump and Elon Musk for using basically the reference that's used in the Matrix. Elon Musk has been very, very vocal as of late because of the restrictions that are in California due to the COVID-19 crisis, to the point that he has even threatened to move his Tesla operations out of state in order to be able to reopen and start business as usual again. So he went on to Twitter and said, because he believes that California's becoming more of a fascist type of ruling right now because they're not allowing anybody out, no businesses to open or anything like that. So he went ahead and went on Twitter and said, "Take the red pill." To which Ivanka Trump went ahead and also she went ahead and responded and basically said, "Taken." To which Lily Wachowski wasn't too happy at the fact of the matter that both of them were using her term because, judging by what she responded, she really wasn't too happy about that, and went ahead and said, "F both of you." So Lily was not too happy about that. And she obviously has shared her disdain for both Elon Musk and Ivanka Trump. So we'll see if Elon Musk decides to respond to that rather pretty vocal insult, or I don't know. We'll see if maybe they'll just go ahead and look at it as, oh well, she doesn't like us, oh well, time to move on. That's pretty much how it goes. In other entertainment news, this past Sunday night marked the season finale of American Idol, hosted by, of course, Ryan Seacrest. And many fans had noticed, because he's obviously a lot of people are broadcasting from home right now, and a lot of fans noticed that something was going on with Ryan's eyes, that they were very puffy and very swollen. So a lot of people were thinking that he was slurring in a lot of what he was saying. So a lot of people were concerned, believing that the 45-year-old had suffered a stroke. Many people took to social media and were wondering if Ryan was okay, what was going on with his health. Well, a rep for Ryan decided to go on the record and say, quote, "Ryan did not have any kind of stroke last night. Like many people right now, Ryan is adjusting to the new normal and finding work-home balance with the added stress of having to put on live shows from home. Between Live with Kelly and Ryan, American Idol, On Air with Ryan Seacrest, and the Disney Family Sing-Along specials, he has been juggling 3-4 on-air jobs over the last few weeks, and he's in need of rest. So today he took a well-deserved day off." So that's basically all it was. Ryan is perfectly fine. He's just overwhelmed with work. I mean, it's no kidding. I mean, the guy takes on so many different projects. I mean, he's a producer. He's executive producer of a bunch of reality shows, I mean, it's a lot of work for one person to take on. It's no wonder that he was going to be a little bit exhausted from everything, and I mean, but that's the nature of the beast. What can you say? But glad to hear that he's okay, and hopefully he continues to be okay. In other entertainment news, I had the opportunity to sit and chat with Sherry Nelson, Maxim supermodel, and talked about her journey on how she got to the Maxim model search. But first, here is Makasi and Gregoir Cruz, Manos and Me, featuring Tima D, right here on the Xander Effect.
Met you in the summertime, double diamante and lime. Nunca olvidar ese día. Whole years passed us by, and I wanna relive that night. Ahora estás en mi avenida. No me hagas esperar. Wanna be up in your palm. Estoy parado aquí. You know what I need.
Xander Effect, I have a supermodel and Maxim girl Sherry Nelson on here. How you doing, Sherry?
I'm great.
It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. How's the days over there? Because I know you're in Canada, right?
Yes. It's warming up. The sun's out. It's nice. We're going into June as our wet month, so we're getting ready for a bit of rain. But no, it's great. The snow's getting melted, and yeah, it's nice fresh air.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. The snow is barely melting over there? I'm melting over here. It's like 85 degrees where I'm at here.
No, not here. We're about 50 degrees. So lots of snow on the mountains.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I mean, but you're staying safe, though. You're staying isolated with this whole crazy crisis that's going on?
Yes. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good to hear. So let me, okay. So from what I understand, you actually have come from a small town in Canada, a lumber town, mind you. And, you know, you went from a lumber town to modeling. Talk to me a little bit about how was that like growing up in a small town that was mainly a lumber town?
Yes. Well, where I live, we've actually got a lot of mining, farming, lumber. And yeah, I worked for my family. I was fourth generation doing sales, lumber sales, which my greatest demographic was the United States. And my father sold the company April 1st, 2019. And a man had seen my photo on Facebook, and he suggested that there was a Maxim contest that I should enter. And usually those contests aren't for anyone but those that are in the United States. But this time it was an international contest.
Mm-hmm.
So I entered it thinking I wouldn't last a week. And it went all the way, and I became in the top 4. So yeah, I was fortunate that Maxim offered an international contest, because now my life is on a different trajectory.
Wow, that's crazy because, I mean, well, let me ask you. So it's on a different trajectory now. How would it have been if none of that would have happened? Would you have just, I mean, well, your father sold the company, so what was going to be next up, you know, after that? What would have been, what would have been your path had this not happened?
Well, while the contest was going on, I was traveling throughout British Columbia and Alberta, getting access to product at various sawmills, because I had hoped to move to the United States and open up my own lumber trading firm, which still might happen one day. But yeah, so I'd be in lumber still as a trader.
So it's like lumber is in your blood. Lumber is what you know. And I didn't even know that there was that much that, well, I mean, obviously everything's made up of wood. You know, you got papers, pencils, you got a bunch of stuff that's made out of wood. Obviously, you know, buildings, everything. So there's a lot of money to be involved in lumber, I'm assuming.
Yes, definitely. And right now with the coronavirus, if you're in a rural area where there are sawmills, about 3 months ago, the pulp market had been depressed. And so you'd see chips piling up. Well, now people need face masks. People ran out of toilet paper. So now you drive past those sawmills and they're out of chips, because there's been a big demand for pulp products to supply these new needs. But yeah, lumber's great, and yeah, there's a little bit in everything.
So, and you've been in this industry since you were a little girl, right?
Yeah, like I was always fortunate that I'd be able to ride with my dad up the mountain and go. You know, I didn't know exactly what I was looking at, but he would tell me about when an area had been logged and when it was regrowth, or when an area had a forest fire and things like that. So I always learned about it. It's a wonderful thing if any parents want to take their kids into the mountains or for science. You know what I mean? Then you can touch it, feel it, smell it. It's the best learning lesson for something like that.
So bring your kid to work day for you was a whole different experience.
Yeah, no, anytime I could hang out with my father, I always wanted to. He's my hero.
Nice. So you absolutely didn't have any idea that this was going to happen to you, that you were going to go ahead and shoot up, you know, in fame as a model. Modeling was nowhere near in your radar until Maxim, you know, came about, and you know, you got in the top 4. I mean, how was that experience like for you during that time? I mean, were you the entire time thinking, I'm not going to make it, you know, that far, I'm just going to do this? I mean, was that your experience, or was it like the closer you got to the finalists and stuff like that, where you already started to think, maybe this could happen?
No, definitely. I remember, I think it was the second, when I went in, I thought, I'm just going to go in because I'll probably be in and out. Nobody will know. And then I think it was the second or third week, and a friend of mine, Sheldon Reed, posted it on Facebook to go vote for me. So I sent him a message. I go, take it down. Take it down, because I don't know. I just didn't have the confidence. And then as each week went on, Ronnie James of the Global Galaxy Network, he posted my photo. And then a man in Austria, Hubert, who owns has jewelry and does Prana Energy, and he posted it, so a lot of Europeans were voting for me, and it kept going. And then when we were getting towards the very end, all I could think was, oh my goodness, what if I get to meeting the people at Maxim. What if they think that's not you? But they were very good to me, Maxim, when the photos came out. And no, I'm really happy that I tried it. I always profess to people, oh, what's the risk? Just try anything. So I had to do it, and I'm really happy that I did, because I'm meeting some pretty amazing people right now, you included, and yeah. So no, I'm very happy, and except for the border closing, so I'm in a bit of limbo, but I'm still working a lot. So I guess in hindsight, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, but now I am.
Well, that's crazy. That's really cool. I mean, it almost seems that, as beautiful as you are, Sherry, because you're drop dead gorgeous. Obviously, you're a Maxim model for a reason. They don't just choose anybody here. It's one of those things where, it almost seems like you're not confident. You weren't confident like most of these models are, but you're very humble. It's not that you don't have confidence. It's more like you're a very humble person from the sounds of it.
Well, I often tell people I can sell lumber. I cannot sell myself. So it's odd. I don't know. And I guess, you see yourself every day, so you think, bah. But compared to
yes, I know. I know I know exactly what you're talking about. But with me, that's actually the literal case. With you, I don't know. I don't think so.
No. I don't think so. No, it's just, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's cool though that you just went pretty much, because you said so yourself before we started this interview. You actually mentioned that you're a free bird. So you tend to like kind of just be like, let's do it and see what happens. I mean, and that's actually really cool, because in life you have to take these types of risks. Otherwise, no guts, no glory type of mentality.
No, definitely. Well, and I wonder now about everybody on lockdown, if some people almost feel like they just want to break out, and maybe this will be the impetus for people to try something different, try something new. You know what I mean? Or at the very least, get healthier, so you have a healthy foundation to prevent an onslaught of an illness such as this. But I think maybe, hopefully, some people that would never have ventured outside their safe zone, maybe this will be it. You never know. God acts in mysterious ways.
Very true. Very true. I mean, and there's like a lot of people. It's so funny because it's almost like the people that needed to work out are working out at home and they're starting to get really fit. But the people that were already fit are like, yeah, I'm just going to eat now.
So I know. I've noticed that too.
It's the opposite. So, it went backwards.
Yeah. So
it's crazy though. It's crazy. So right now you're in isolation, and again, before we started the interview, you said you're by a lake. How's that like right now?
Oh, it's wonderful. There's a kind of a current with the snowfall melting on the mountains and coming down. So we have a bit of a current, and we went on a canoe. It's usually about an 8-hour paddle, float. And because of the current, we did it in about 4 hours, and it's quite magical. I've got some photos. I'll send you some photos you'll like. But, this isolation, it really kind of resets you and puts you, back into nature. I think I'm seeing a lot more people wanting to have their own garden, so they know where their vegetables are coming from. They're out here. We have the Hutterites, where you can get some amazing, chicken or beef or things like that. So I think, an underlying effect is people want to get grounded again and, know what they're ingesting, and just kind of stop and smell the roses while this is happening.
It's interesting that you use the word reset. And the thing is that my executive producer and myself are consistently arguing over who came up with the idea of using the word reset for the current crisis. And to this day, I'm saying I'm the one that started that, but whatever. Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's funny because I actually I recorded an episode called Coronavirus Silver Lining of the Xander Effect. And it talks about exactly what you're saying right now. How, this is an opportunity for people to reset, for the world to reset itself. Because we were going, at 100 million miles an hour, and we never stopped to smell the roses. Now's the opportunity for that to happen.
Oh, definitely. So many people, that are out walking and staring at their phone and not looking around them. Perhaps, maybe this was the impetus that you don't want anyone to get sick. You don't want anyone to pass on. But maybe this is what it took for certain groups to look up and start seeing what is around them.
Exactly. And I mean, even with nature, if you know, and I mentioned this on that episode, is the fact of the matter that with nature, it's resetting itself as well. The ozone layer, like there's a part of an ozone layer that has fixed itself. The rivers in Italy are so clean you could actually see the fish at the bottom without the gondolas and without man's interference, in a sense. And that's actually it's been fixing itself the entire time.
But then again, then there's that issue that you have about all those professors of global warming. Do you see how quickly things went back to clarity and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was always under the impression when I heard those people, you know, saying it's the end of the world, we've got doomsday coming. Maybe it's not doomsday. Maybe, you know, now we see the effects of everything shutting down, the jet streams, things like that, and it's not going to be that difficult now to bring back life. I don't know.
I agree with you on that too, because it's almost like the earth went on a binge drink and it got really crazy drunk, and now the earth's liver was suffering for it, but the liver fixes itself. So now it's time for the earth's liver to start fixing itself. You know, now that the binge drinking is over and they're taking a break from alcohol for a little bit because they got too hungover the next day. So, you know, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, it seems that the earth is in fact fixing itself. And I agree with you. I think that if man didn't interfere as much or didn't, you know, ruin the you know, the world or the earth or the environment or anything like that, you know, then it would actually start fixing and healing itself. That's all it would need.
Yes, definitely. Well, like I saw that one photo many of you saw with the turtles coming back onto the beach. So when the quarantine gets lifted, the turtles will be like, oh, man.
They're like, oh, great, here comes these people again. Jeez.
Oh, those guys.
I can't a turtle just go ahead and sunbathe topless in peace? I mean, give me a break here. No, that's so true though. But I mean, so going back to your modeling and everything. So after Maxim, you know, was after you know, you came in fourth and everything, I'm sure that opened up a world of opportunities for you afterward.
It did. One of the most pivotal ones was meeting Dr. Jimmy Starr, and we had a phone conversation, and he's so wonderful. Like he's so selfless, and he works tirelessly. And he said, "What are you doing in 8 days? I've got tickets to the Sue Wong Oscar Gala. Would you like to go?" And I go, "Yep."
Yeah, Jimmy's really cool.
Anything, so I said, "Of course." And it was life changing. I was fortunate to sit at a table with your past guest, Thomas Churchill, who. That man I could listen to. He is just a wealth of knowledge.
Awesome.
Oh, your show with him. Like he's someone I hope to be able to go to a movie theater and learn from. He just great. And at our table, I didn't know him, but he owned our table like a boss. Everybody would look to him for cues and everything. And I'm like, who's this guy? But there were some pretty wonderful people at our table. The beautiful actor Sherry Davis. I don't know if you've met her, but she's a knockout. And yeah, no, I can't say it enough. I've met the most amazing people. I've been very, very fortunate.
No, Jimmy definitely knows how to connect people together. Like you know, major props to Jimmy Starr. You know, I mean, he's an incredible podcaster. You know, and he definitely connects a lot of people together. You know, he connected myself with you, Thomas, and a bunch of other of my guests. So I really give him a lot of props for that. But yeah, no, Thomas is another one. He's an incredible person to interview. Like you said, you heard the interview, the past interview with him, and he's just awesome. I like Thomas. I'm like, dude, this guy's really cool. You know, like this guy is really awesome to listen to.
Oh yeah, and his accent. As soon as that was one thing that intrigued me when
the New York accent.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. And then I don't know if you've met Jimmy's partner, Ron Russell, another amazing man.
No, I have not. I haven't had the opportunity to meet Ron, but I'm sure I will soon enough.
Yes, buckle up because he is great. He's unforgettable.
Nice. So, so besides modeling, you're trying. I mean, you're also an actress and a producer. What have you been doing? You know, in that area.
Well, since the quarantine, fortunately, I've been busy. Actually, I've been really busy. I've been working with Chance TV, so I've been doing a lot of writing for his shows. And I've also been working with Brian Sebastian on Women on TV, and I've been sitting in on a lot of interviews. And no, I'm just thankful people are giving me the opportunity. So I'm just doing my best to, put my best foot forward so that I can get a call back. I'm also, I'm not as gifted as you are, but I've started to write a screenplay myself. And yeah, I just want to try so many different things since I'm in this avenue. And I know it won't last for very long, but I just want to try and do as much as I can, learn as much as I can, and hopefully make it a positive impression.
Hey, you never know. You can't say it might not last too long. You just gotta have faith that it will last a very long time. And you mentioned writing. I mean, is that something that you were secretly passionate about, growing up, or is that something that you just started diving into?
No, I've often, living where I do in a rural area, it takes an hour one way just to get to town. So you do a lot of thinking when you're driving, but there's some unique stories out there to be told, and there's several that I hope to write, and I can put the pieces together. The one that I'm currently working on is Maria Calais, the opera singer, the girlfriend of Aristotle Onassis, and her story is pretty spectacular, and I think it would be a beautiful show on screen. But yeah, there's just so many things that I would love to introduce or uncover for people to story tell. Like Mr. Churchill had said, like, there's so many reboots. I know that you asked him about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, reboots are okay if you tell a new story. So I never want to write a story that would hurt someone's reputation or upset someone's family. I just, obviously you would like their input if you could get it. But I just want to, hopefully do great things for people that I want to display on the screen.
And that's interesting, because it seems that you're very much for women empowerment, because that's what it seems like you're doing this type of writing for the show. You're doing this type of screenplay as well. I mean, do you get upset whenever you hear people say, oh, well, models, they're setting women back about 1,000 years because they're showing off and blah blah blah, like a lot of and I'm not gonna go ahead and say any organizations' names or anything like that, but there's a lot of organizations that tend to say that about models. I mean, what's your thoughts about that?
I choose not to listen to it. It's just draining and annoying. I also choose not to listen to people blame men for everything. I am not that girl. I know a lot of men that have done great things, and I don't like to exist in an environment where it's us against them, women against men, or religion or cultures or things like that. I am not that girl. I just think that, for this example, Maria Calais, she was a gifted lady. Whether it was her or a man, I just want to pull out the essence of what made her special. So yeah, no, I know those people that do that, and it's funny because they're probably the same group. Remember the Super Bowl halftime with Jennifer Lopez?
Oh,
I thought
God.
it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
I actually reported about that in a couple of episodes. Actually, the week after the Super Bowl, when that preacher was trying to sue the NFL and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, You're just looking for a payday. That's all you're looking for. It's not. It didn't bother you when you were watching it, did it?
Well, but that's the key, Xander, is for me as a woman, I'm looking at Jennifer Lopez going, I have really got to start taking some pole dancing lessons. Like, I really got to do this. Oh, I wonder if I should get an outfit that looks like that. But yet those people that talked ill of it, and also of Shakira, they watched the whole halftime show.
Yeah, exactly.
I personally that awful, or they said it wasn't suitable for their children. Why are you letting your children watch that?
Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what I said on my episode. If you don't like it, it's something called a remote control. You change the channel. Those little buttons on there, they work wonders, especially since you're only watching the Super Bowl. If it's a halftime show, change the channel until the game starts again. Ooh, problem solved.
I'm that girl that she put herself out there, and if anyone talks ill of that, I go right to her and support her even more, because you know what? you sat as an armchair quarterback bashing it, so I got nothing to say to you. I would rather go and support Jennifer and Shakira for putting on a show that obviously is memorable, because you and I are talking about it. I can vividly see it. So yeah,
I mean, if we're
Super Bowl is great.
if we're gonna talk about how oversexed, quote, and I'm doing air quotes while I say this, how oversexed the Super Bowl halftime show is, then why don't we talk about how violent the sport is itself? I mean,
Yeah.
it's also pretty violent for children to watch. You know, there have been a lot of kids that, you know, there have been news reports where they try to do like a wrestling move, or they try to do like a football move, and they end up injuring their sibling. I mean, come on, you know, you know, if we're going to go ahead and sue the NFL for a show, might as well sue them for how violent football is. It makes no sense whatsoever.
No,
It's the dumbest thing in the
exactly.
world.
No, yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
I mean, it's, you know, I saw the show. I thought it was amazing. I especially loved how Jennifer Lopez brought out her daughter. And,
Oh,
you know, when
yeah.
she had her saying, her daughter's incredibly talented. Like, she's definitely following in her mom's footsteps.
Yeah.
And
Father.
I know that, you know, she's gonna do amazing. I mean, she's gonna do amazing, you know, with the music industry, and it was just a really cool way to kind of, you know, introduce her daughter into the music world.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
which is really
that'll
awesome.
be, like, hopefully in time, like 5 to 10 years, you
Mhm.
will be able to approach her and say, what did it feel like at that moment? Like, I'm curious what her little mind and vision saw. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
to perform at one of the biggest stages in
yeah.
sports
And it was
history.
magical because she had the safety net of her mom with her. And I wonder if I'm also curious when she realized how, you know, phenomenal her mom is. Like, could you imagine? Because I remember hearing, what was it? Danny, my goodness, he was in that. Did you ever see a show called Magic City?
Sounds familiar. I don't think I ever watched it, though.
And it's a long lineage of actors and actresses. And anyways, when he was a young boy, his father was doing the voice of Jesus. And he goes, when I grew up, I really thought my father was Jesus. So I wonder if Jennifer Lopez's daughter, I wonder what she thinks of when she thinks of her mom with that much of a commanding performance.
It's a larger than life experience, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, seeing how many people love her mom, and it's huge. It's kind of like being the son of Hulk Hogan. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the daughter, because he's got a son, he's got a daughter. It's kind of like being his kids, and knowing
Yeah.
your father is a world-renowned icon in sports entertainment. Like, he can't go 2 blocks without people knowing who he is. You know, I mean, the guy, like, I grew up watching him. I grew up being a wrestling fan and watching Hulk Hogan, and he was like my hero. He's like my biggest hero, like, of all time. So, I mean, it was one of those things where being their kid is like, whoa, you know. I mean, I'll never forget that they did back when Hulk Hogan had his own reality show called Hogan Knows Best. And they did an episode where he came back to WrestleMania, and then they pretty much, you know, like his son would say, you know, when people go ahead and ask me, you know, what it's like to be Hulk Hogan's son, I just look at them. I'm like, he's just my dad. You know, he's just my dad. You know, and I think that's pretty cool. You know, like, that's his
Yeah.
answer. Because it's got to be an incredible experience to be the sons or daughters of huge icons like these, you know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you have all this stuff going on. You have all this writing going on. I mean, what's, you know, like, with this coronavirus, what's been keeping you busy? Have you been like you said, you've been doing all this stuff from home? And is this all that you're doing, or are you trying to also, maybe you could start a podcast? I don't know. You know, I mean, that's a good idea. I would have to say, you never know. But besides, you know, besides writing, I mean, have you been trying to, like, maybe get into photography since you're so close to nature, or, you know, are you trying to, like, go ahead and just focus on writing right now?
Yeah, I'm happy behind the camera. I'm just doing as much as I can to help, you know, Brian or Sebastian or Chance. They've been very kind, and they teach me a lot. Other than that, yeah, no, I've done quite a few podcasts. I've been actually very busy. It's been wonderful. And then on the side, you know, just trying to exercise and try and make a better first impression second time around.
Nice. So are you looking forward? Are you definitely, like, you know, already thinking about what you're going to do once everything starts reopening up and everything?
Yeah, well, initially the Canada-U.S. border was going to open up May 20th, and I was hopeful that it's Ron Russell's 80th birthday, and I had hoped I would be able to see him again and dance with him on his birthday, but now the border closure has been extended until June 20th, so a late dance I think we'll do. But yeah, so as soon as the border opens up, I'll be coming back down to the United States and seeing some friends and hopefully doing some more things and networking some more and meeting more people. Maybe going to a baseball game with Xander Danes. I'm not sure. Nice.
Well, I would definitely enjoy that. I would definitely enjoy that. So, Sherry, how can people stalk you on social media?
I'm on Facebook, Sherry Nelson, and I've got the traditional SHERRY. And I'm on social media at Twitter and Instagram at XOXOSherryXO.
Awesome. Well, Sherry Nelson, thank you so much for being on the Xander Effect. I appreciate your time. Please remain safe out where you're at. I'm sure you are, but just please remain safe. And I hope to have you on the show very soon. Hopefully, like when things start opening up, and you start actually, producing some of these screenplays that you're writing right now. I'd love to, maybe sit down and chat with you about that.
I would love that. Yeah. And I actually would like you to see my writing because I know that you're very talented at that. So no, I'd appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much, Sherry. Appreciate it. And hope to see you again very soon on the Xander Effect.
So do I. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much, Sherry Nelson, for being on the Xander Effect. Hope to have you on the show again very soon. In sports, looks like ex-WWE superstar Shad Gaspard has gone missing in the Pacific Ocean. On Sunday, him and his 10-year-old son went swimming off of Venice Beach, and apparently a strong rip current pretty much caught them and took them in around 4 p.m. After which lifeguards raced in to pull everyone out, but unfortunately they were not able to get Gaspard. Gaspard still remains in the ocean at this time. According to authorities, according to the LA Fire Department, they said that he, quote, did submerge. So that can't be good news. They're still looking for him. They're still looking to find him. Hopefully he's okay. But if the LA Fire Department is saying that he did submerge and it's already the next day, I mean, I would really hate to think the worst, but I'm hoping for the best, and I hope that he's okay. The one thing that they did say was that when the lifeguards went in to go rescue them, Shad immediately told them to rescue his son first. And basically, he saved his son's life. And this isn't the first time that Shad had shown that type of heroism. In the past, back in 2016, he actually stopped unarmed robbery in Florida as well. So he's had that kind of hero mentality, and hopefully here's hoping that he's okay and they're able to find him unharmed or with very little physical damage. In other sports news, many people have been talking about Mike Tyson's return, and a lot of people have been both saying it's a good thing, others have been saying it's a bad thing. A lot of people have been very vocal over his return. I mean, come on, it's Iron Mike Tyson, for God's sake. The guy is a legend in the boxing world. Well, another legend that decided to go ahead and put his 2 cents was actually former UFC champion, former and UFC Hall of Famer Chuck Liddell, who was a special guest on Submission Radio, and he basically talked a little bit about Mike Tyson's return, and he said, quote, "Whatever he wants, he looked in great shape. He looks like he's been working out. I mean, before he decided to announce something, he got ready. He still got it. If he wants to go out there and do some exhibition matches, it'll be great." But obviously, we all know that Liddell's, track record about making a comeback wasn't the best in the world, as he, when he decided to come back and do Tyson versus Tito Ortiz 3, he ended up getting knocked out in the first round. So, I mean, when it comes to like giving advice, basically Liddell thinks that he's the last person that should be given advice on comebacks, because he continued to say, quote, "I don't know if I'm going to be issuing keys for making comebacks, but he knows where he needs to be and how he needs to feel. Tyson's been doing this for way too long." So again, many people have been for it, many people have been against it, but so far the Iceman is giving his stamp of approval for Iron Mike to make his comeback into the squared circle. In other sports news, the NHL is planning a return, a pretty close return actually, with a 2014 playoffs. But unfortunately, the ones that are getting the short end of the stick are the Pittsburgh Penguins, because unfortunately they're in a position where that's exactly where they're going to be at, is the short end of it. According to TSN reporter Pierre LeBrun, it seems that the NHL has been meeting 3 times in the last week, the NHL and the NHLPA, and they're so close to coming to some sort of an agreement to go ahead and continue the season, but it's only going to be it's going to go straight into a playoff mode, and pretty much this leaves the Pittsburgh Penguins in a very precarious position. If the NHL ends up approving the 2014 format, the Penguins will be forced to play the 12th seed Montreal Canadiens in a play-in series. The Penguins center Sidney Crosby went on TSN and told Darren Dreger last week, quote, "It's difficult to win the Stanley Cup, and you want to win it the right way. That's 4 best 4 out of 7 series. That's how we know it." So it might be a very difficult task for the Penguins, but you never know. Anything can happen in the NHL. But first, the NHL has to get past the fact of the matter that they can actually begin to have games again. So we'll see what happens in the near future. Coming up next in video game news, Rainbow Six Siege gets a brand new DLC with 2 new operators and a couple of brand new maps. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first, here is Chef Sean's No Name featuring Jeremiah right here on the Xander Effect.
You the type to tell all of your business, ain't nobody else's business. That's the reason they don't know my name. I don't even come around your block. I don't hang around no ops. It's the reason they don't know my name. No.
She let me hit and I ain't know her name. I hit and down, she gone insane. I split and I went down my lane. I should've never be the same. She say she love me, now it's looking like I'm colder. Used to say she quite impressed, I guess that's just how she was brought up. Yeah, she like Prada, she like Gucci, she like Fendi. She run my bag, she poppin' tags, she hit my stash until it's empty. Now we pull up drippin', while she trippin', talking about some hoes I ain't about to mention, but I got the shit she needs to ease. I like them black girls, white girls, Spanish girls, the ones with big butts, big hair, and big curls. Type to throw it back, in love with smash girls. Type to like sex with me, with 2 girls, but I still slang G, like I sell dope. It is still one thing that I don't know what her name is. I'm still trying to figure what her name is. I'm still trying to figure what her name is.
You the type to tell all of your business, ain't nobody else's business. That's the reason they don't know my name. I don't even come around your block. I don't hang around no ops. It's the reason they don't know my name.
Should I reintroduce myself? No cap, not trying to juice myself. Run around streets with you, not trying to lose myself. Run around streets with heat, not trying to shoot myself. Run around strap with pole, not trying to hurt nobody. Pull up real smooth with dope, just trying to work the party. Find a real chick, she cool, she turn up to the cardi. Find a real chick, she smooth, ain't trying to hurt nobody. She a real chick, she smooth, ain't trying to hurt nobody. I like black girls, white girls, Asian girls, the ones with big butts, big hair, and big curls. Type to throw it back, in love with smash girls. Type to like sex with me, with 2 girls, but I still slang G, like I sell dope. It is still one thing that I don't know what her name is. I'm still trying to figure what her name is. I'm still trying to figure what her name is.
You the type to tell all of your business, ain't nobody else's business. That's the reason they don't know my name. I don't even come around your block. I don't hang around no ops. It's the reason they don't know my name. We should keep it low. I ain't with the drama. I don't want no problems, but I know you got 'em. Lambo, keep it low. I'm just trying to fuck. Can you keep me up? Don't tell me it's it's too much, but I'm still the same G. That's up for the goat, and it's just one thing. Ain't more real, no. I got that word, that make her quit that. Told me to sit back, ride it like Six Flags, handle my business. You the type to tell all of your business, ain't nobody else's business. That's the reason they don't know my name. I don't even come around your block, I don't hang around no ops. That's the reason they don't know my name. No, no, no.
Yo, what's good? This is Zay. How y'all doing? This is Eli. We are Dose, and you're on the Xander Effect.
Baby looking crazy, can we get a little crazy? Girl, in my mind so crazy, and I don't wanna see it, baby. Got all the girls out here hating, me and my boys out here waiting. You know your body ain't playing, you know your body ain't playing. When I pull up, don't say a word. Captivate me with your body, hypnotize me with your soul. My lucid dreams turn reality. I feel it, you know what you do to me. You know I can't get enough, can't get enough. You know I can't get enough, can't get enough. I wanna know if I'm feeling this right, and I wanna know if that look in your eyes says you want me. Come control me, come and hold me. Emotions crazy, baby. When I pull up, don't say a word. Captivate me with your body, hypnotize me with your soul. My lucid dreams turn reality. I feel it, you know what you do to me. You know I can't get enough, can't get enough of your love. You know I can't get enough. Baby looking crazy, can we get a little crazy? Girl, in my mind so crazy, and I don't wanna see it, baby. Got all the girls out here hating, me and my boys out here waiting. You know your body ain't playing, you know your body ain't playing. Can't get enough, get enough, get enough, can't get enough of your love. Get enough, get
That was Can't Get Enough by Dose right here on the Xander Effect. In video game news, Rainbow Six season year 5 season 2 Operation Steel Wave has got a lot of cool stuff, and it's got 2 new operators. It adds Defender Malusi and Attacker Ace to the game. Now, Malusi is a really cool little attacker defender, which basically she's a crowd control specialist is what she is, and she gathers information from the crowds that she's controlling. In this particular one, her ability or her weapon of choice actually is a Banshee Sonic Defense, and it's very similar to Maestro's Evil Eye. Now, if you guys have played the game, you know that Maestro's Evil Eye, he places it somewhere, and as soon as it's got a camera on it, and as soon as they see an attacker coming, there's a little screen that opens and it starts shooting the attacker to basically, it shoots him with like little pulses. Doesn't really it causes very little damage to an attacker, but not enough to kill it. It's just enough to go ahead and distract an attacker so that way someone could come out and shoot him, and they could go ahead and get rid of that attacker. Now, Malusi's Banshee Sonic Defense is similar to that in the sense that you could place it anywhere. But the difference here is that it's bulletproof, so you can't really shoot it down. You could only, an attacker could only throw an explosive at it in order to destroy it. Now, the other difference is that when attacker gets near the Banshee Sonic Defense, it goes off and it throws off a very high-pitched scream-like sound that pretty much distracts the attackers. It messes with them, and it also tells the defense, the people on defense, to know where the attacker's coming from, so they could go ahead and take care of them. So that's a pretty cool little defense mechanism that they have for the defense. Now, as far as the attacker goes, Ace is a more up close and personal type of operator. He basically is a breacher. Ace has something called a Selma, and it's similar to Hibana's X Kairos, but there's a little bit of a difference to it. Now, what happens here is that he throws this into a breachable wall, regardless if it's reinforced or not. And what happens is that it drops an explosive on the section of the wall below it, and it then explodes, creating a small little hole. So again, it's very similar to that. The secondary charge then pushes out a third explosive before going off, making the hole even bigger. So that's pretty much what's going on with Ace and his Selma. Another new feature that's also included in the new Operation Steel Wave is Ubisoft also announced that they're going to be reworking the house map, and Amaru is also getting a rework, she's getting adjustments to her Gara hook, making her a better breacher. So there's going to be a lot of brand new features going on with this new DLC, and I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to playing it very soon. That's the news in case you haven't heard it. Thank you so much for listening to the Xander Effect. And again, remember, we're still in this crisis. We're almost out of it. There's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, according to some news reports. So we just got to keep on doing what we're doing. We got to keep on, just riding this crisis out. And whenever you go out, again, remember to wear your masks, wear your goggles if you got them, wear your gloves if you got them, and continue to be safe for yourselves and for your loved ones. And remember, music always heals all. We'll see you next time.
Yo. That be tell I told. Yeah, you did. They ain't believe it though. One life. Do Brown. Same game, be telling. What up? Woo! So we kick it like it's kickball. Power couple. She dripping in that Dolce Gabbana. They wanna touch her. Everybody know that's do girl. What you gonna do by me and her take on the world? Now that's a truth.
Hey everyone, the Xander Effect is powered by 50/50 Global Music Inc., Sony Music, The Orchard, and BMG Bertelsmann Group, in association with Art 19 Media.